Hello, this is ButterBot 2.3, as well as the video where you wonder if I film these all on multiple days or choose to wear the same outfits to confuse you. We're going to be going over the newly designed pieces. Hooray! What they do and why I've decided to make them exist. We're going to do the least complicated part first, the bottom. The whole reason I made this is to have a testing portion as well as control my mind and focus in on what will eventually be bearing design. What I mean by that is that in the final product, when we get there in 4 years, this will sit in a plate, be surrounded by a bearing where this piece will rotate and the base will not. That's going to need a motor interface in the bottom, which I have made, but probably won't actually use it for this piece. This will most likely be changed, but this is the general idea of what it'll be. A motor will stick in there, and then this will rotate freely. How this works, this piece goes in here, you put the stepper cap in, and there you go. You have a rotating joint. You can see by the two heat set inserts on either side that the motors that I do have will attach to the side so that this can rotate. As I said in previous videos, stepper motors are DC and therefore torque additive, so having two on the same joint will, in theory, give me double torque. It's more like torque and a 3/4 torque, but that's what it is if they were perfect motors. But as I said before, this is purely for testing joint 1. I don't think this will make it very far when we get to start doing the bearing design around this. I've never done plastic bearings before. They're probably not going to be purely plastic bearings. They're probably going to have some sort of lubricant as the bearing or something like that. Maybe use ball bearings in a plastic container or something like that, or possibly beads. People have done that before where they replaced ball bearings with hard beads. But we'll get there when we get there. We're focusing mostly on joints for the time being. And what I've also done is the gripper. Now, for you big fans out there, which is mostly just my mom, this used to be just a tube that I was gonna stick the knife in and hot glue everything around it. Now, I went into that knowing it wasn't a good idea, so don't look at me like that, but I think this might be much better. It's a little bit too skinny as it is, so it's going to need some redesigns, but how it's going in is the knife is going to slot in this way, and when I tighten these screws, the plastic squeezes in and tightens around the knife. So that'll make a tight connection as well as an interchangeable interface. So I could take out the knife at any time. I could use a different kind of knife. And I can also slide in the knife from this way and then put in the bolts, which was the biggest reason of why I had to nuke that big tube with a lot of hot glue. Because the knife is bigger at the bottom and bigger at the top, and it's tapered in the middle and where I want to hold it at the middle. So take out the screws, drop the knife in, put in the screws, and there you have it. You're holding on to the knife. You might be wondering though, have you used this and does it work? And these are all excellent questions that I have wondered about myself as well, and we will get there. But just look at that. Look at how nice that looks. Look, that's almost professional. Look at that. Look at that. Look. It just goes right on. Right on there. And this turns. Yeah. There we go. Doesn't that look super intentional? All right. Next couple of videos will be testing videos where we can answer that question of whether or not that knife interface will work when we get there, because that'll be last. First thing we're going to do is this joint connection here, then this joint connection, Then this joint connection with the weight of this joint, which is what I'm most worried about, as well as this joint connection with the motor weight, which is also something that I'm worried about. We're going to push these stepper motors to the limit and most probably replace them. Until next time.